Go ahead, Jess. You know you want to do it for this movie.
Sing it.
Not. I don't know the words of the song.
It's the Lion King. Oh, he is panicking.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Eye to Eye Disney Through Our Eyes. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Jessica.
And it's time for our spoiler-filled review of the Lion King remake for 2019. Again, as we addressed in our non-spoiler review, I get it. You can't really spoil the Lion King.
Everybody knows the story, but it is what it is.
There are a few things that happen in the movie that we don't necessarily want to say in the other review. So if you haven't gone and checked that one out, go check that one out there. If you haven't watched the movie, don't watch this one. This is your final warning. Now the big question is, can Jessica do her 60-second review well this time?
Let's be honest. I'm thinking probably not, because I just feel like I should know this story so well. I mean, I've watched this movie twice in 1 week, like the old version and the new version.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to go well, guys.
It's not going to go well because it never does. You would think, knowing the movie better, she'd do well. But let's find out.
I don't think it's going to help.
Are you ready?
No.
Jessica's 60-second review of The Lion King 2019 starts.
Wait, you got to count me down. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Mufasa and Sarabi have a baby named Simba. Simba is supposed to be the heir to the throne, Mufasa is the king, and then Scar is the brother, but he was gonna be the king if Mufasa didn't have a son, but then he did, and so Scar is mad that Simba was born. So Scar comes up with this evil plan to kill Mufasa and Simba, but the hyenas end up not killing Simba. So he kills Mufasa, Mufasa dies, it was really sad. So then Simba has to run away because Scar says run away and never return. And so he goes and lives with Timon and Pumbaa, and Timon and Pumbaa are super funny, and they live out in like the land, and they eat bugs and stuff. And so then
the land like Disney
Scar takes over Pride Rock, and it just goes to crap because the hyenas take all the animals away. Oh my gosh! And then there's no water and nothing. And so Nala comes and gets Simba and finds him in the woods, and then they go back and they kill Scar, and there's a lot of murders, and the hyenas die.
10 seconds.
And they take over Pride Rock again, and then Nala and Simba get married, and then they have a baby, and then everything's happy.
Oh, 1 second to go. That is Jessica's 60-second review of The Lion King 2019. As usual, in your franticness, I think you missed a few things, kind of turned some things upside down.
Like what?
The hyenas didn't die. They just ran off.
Well, in the new movie, they did die.
No, they ate Scar.
No, but not.
They ate Scar.
Okay, some of them did, but not all of them did. Remember?
Just like in the other one.
Listen,
Linda.
Listen. Remember, Simba and Nala were throwing them into the fire, and they were like, "Arr, arr, arr." That happened. Some of them died.
Wait, how were they again? Oh my gosh. By the way, folks, hyenas are not dogs. I know that's everyone's inclination. Sorry, the zookeeper in me is coming out. They're not dogs. They're a different group of animals.
But they
sound like dogs. They look like dogs.
They're mammals, though, right?
I'm not even going to answer that question. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm like Mufasa.
I'm not questioning
You deliberately disobeyed me, and you disappointed me.
I didn't get a chance to mention the deliberately disobeying. I was a little bit sad that was only mentioned one time. In the old movie, Mufasa says you deliberately
we're already into so we're already starting
times.
this discussion, right?
I'm just saying.
So you're disappointed that he didn't say you deliberately disobeyed me.
Well, he said it one time,
yeah.
But in the old movie he said it 2 times, and in the old movie it seemed a little excessive, but now this one it seemed like not enough. So we only know that he deliberately disobeyed him, like just a little bit, but really we should know it a big bit. Anyway, next.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're going to cover everything here we can possibly in as quick amount of time.
Already did. We don't need to do anything else.
All right,
Done.
that's it, folks. Done.
Good job. Go see the movie.
There goes the sun again. Not to win. Okay. All right. The look of this movie is amazing.
It's so good.
Like, what was your favorite scene visual-wise?
Okay, so I'm gonna be super cheesy, and it's gonna be everybody's answer. But that beginning scene, that scene, yeah, where the sun and the animals and everybody's walking up to the. Is it called Pride Rock? I didn't make that up, did I?
Yes, that would be Pride Rock, Jessica.
Okay,
again,
I got confused because Fraggle
so
Rock and Pride Rock. There are a lot of rocks.
My head! I can't take it anymore.
So there are just a lot of rocks. So anyway,
this thing's gone so far off the rails, and we're like, what, 5 minutes in? Even that, we haven't even covered anything about the plot yet.
Sorry. That's my favorite scene, is when all the animals go up to Pride Rock and they're like, you know, doing their hooves.
Yes,
and
doing their hooves. Yeah, I will say my favorite visual scene, I want to be a little bit different. Yes, the opening and the ending are great, but Timon and Pumbaa's jungle paradise that's across the desert, I thought that was really cool, especially when Can You Feel the Love Tonight plays. They're on the water, you know.
I knew you were going to bring up the waterfalls.
I'm a sucker for a waterfall.
I was obsessed with waterfalls, even if they're like literally
I could literally
CGI waterfalls.
Stare at a waterfall for the rest of my life and be content. That's it. No food, no water, no nothing. Just let me stare at a waterfall. I'll probably need to go to the bathroom because I'm staring at a waterfall, but that's TMI. Anyway.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. We appreciate
my realism. Let me say this. As someone who works with animals, I really appreciated what I can tell is they went hardcore into their research about how these animals not just look, but how they behave.
Mannerisms.
They behave. I worked with a red-bill hornbill where I currently work, and I can tell you that the motion that the Zazu does when he bows is actually the motion that would happen sometimes when a red-bill hornbill does that type of display. Not to bow at somebody, but the way they kind of thrust their shoulders back a little bit and kind of spread. I don't want to smack you in the head.
We appreciate you.
But I really appreciate like the way the lions fought and played and all that kind of stuff. My little animal person heart just was so warm about this. Thank you, Disney. Thank you so much on this one.
What's next?
What about the characters? Let's talk about them.
Okay.
Who is your favorite ones out of this?
Pumbaa. Didn't expect to love him. I kind of thought, well, he doesn't look good. He looks kind of gross, but he really looks like they're supposed to look like.
That's what a warthog looks like. I can tell you that as well.
I know. I just wanted him to look like this.
Seth Rogen as...
Yes.
Did you think it fit really well?
100%. He was perfect. He was hilarious.
So they were the
songs,
comedic?
Everything. It was exactly what I needed Pumbaa to be. He was comedic relief. Timon, or Timon, however you say it.
Timon. I don't think it's Timon. People don't say it's not like
do.
T-Bone, it's Timon.
In the first movie, the original, remember that we watched, they call him Timon.
No. Somebody even says Timon.
Do. We talked about this. Anywho, it doesn't matter.
No arguing.
Timon and Pumbaa are funny.
Yes.
Timon was a little more, I don't know the right word, but a little bossier.
Yeah, he was a little sassy or a little bossy, but that's Billy Eichner.
I liked it.
And I didn't think I was going to like Billy Eichner in this role. He proved me wrong. So I know he doesn't watch this. But if you happen to, Billy, you stole the show for me. You were my favorite character. My other favorite character was Sarabi. Alfre Woodard. Oh my gosh. I could just feel like the queenness in her. Just because she like exuded, I am the queen of the Pride Lands.
I will say, one of my
Sarabi
favorite things
awesome.
is when Scar like is so crazy and he's like, Sarabi.
They didn't do that one in this one.
I know. That was going to be my point, bringing it up, is he did it in the original, and in this one, was it the Hyenas that were like, hey, Scar wants to talk to you?
Yeah. Yeah, they were his go-between. They were the kind of things that were keeping the lionesses in check. That's the cool thing here in this one is they really showed that, you know, where Scar in the first one was really in control of the hyenas, he wasn't really in control. He had to convince them to work for him and to be his kind of, he said, I need this army to help us hunt better. Really, he needed this army to keep the lionesses in check, to keep them from overthrowing him, because they would have if they had had the opportunity to. So I thought that was a really cool, like, change. But the only thing I didn't like is they made Scar feel like more of a weakling, you know?
He looked weak. Yeah. He looked like he hadn't eaten in about 12 years. He actually had the, like, giant scar.
Well, his name is Scar.
I know, but does he... I mean, I guess he always did. I'm looking at Kyle's mug that's got a scar on it. Like, Scar, the animal, not a scar. But anyway, I felt like it was a lot more pronounced in this movie that he actually had the scar. I did like, though, that his story was more fleshed out.
Okay, fleshed out.
I understood more.
Fleshed out like that piece of flesh out of his eye. Did it again.
You're saying I understood more of why he was upset that he was no longer the rightful heir to the throne. Right. But that, as Kyle was saying, that did make him have you had a little more sympathy for Scar, and that's not what I wanted to have. And
we actually learned that he wanted Sarabi to be his queen. He wanted to be the heir to the throne. So there was a little bit
interesting.
There was a little more of that kind of interconnectedness, and I could tell they were for Scar. But to me, it almost made him feel a little bit weaker and less like, like Scar was always the one that could never beat Mufasa, but you always felt that he had an upper hand somehow. This one, I felt like, no, he never had the upper hand.
I agree.
Only until the fight did I really see it come out.
But I think that's why he was so bitter, too, is because he knew he didn't have the upper hand.
He didn't have a chance at all, unless he had his army of hyenas to back them up. Speaking of hyenas, what did you think about them? Did you like them better or worse in this one?
Didn't like them as much in this one. They were not as funny. And you know me, I'm a sucker for comedy, so...
Keegan-Michael Key, I was thrilled.
He did a good job.
He did a good job, but I feel like he was wasted a little bit. Whereas they made Shinzi the leader of the hyenas, which is, I think, the way it should be. But I felt like they had more opportunities to make them funny. I think the way I heard it explained is that the hyenas were supposed to be more real, more menacing.
Yeah, they were.
More played up. And they were. And that's the thing where I said this in our non-spoiler review. You need to remember this is not a cartoon.
Right.
This is not real life even. This is trying to make you feel like this could happen where animals can talk. They're kind of funny. So they kind of have to balance the two. So you need to suspend any disbelief you have for this overall when you go into it.
That's fair.
Let's wrap up character discussions here. We haven't even talked about a bunch of them. Simba and Nala. What's your thoughts on them?
They did great. I liked them a lot. They were exactly what I wanted them to be. No surprises. Nothing changed majorly. Yeah. But I enjoyed them.
Very similar scenario here where I thought I was going to love Pumbaa and I didn't think I was going to like Timon as much. I was swapped with Simba and Nala. I went in kind of thinking that Beyonce was going to kill it as Nala, and I was going to forget that Beyonce was Nala. And I thought that Donald Glover would stand out as the voice of Simba, and it was the opposite for me. I even said to her after the film, I was like, I completely forgot that Donald Glover was playing Simba because his voice just bled into the character so much and matched. Where for me, and don't hate me, Beyonce fans, she stuck out to me. I could not unhear Beyonce.
And I think it's because Beyonce's voice is a voice that we are so used to hearing. You know, we hear her music, we hear her in lots of things. And she does have a very unique voice. I think that we are just so attuned to her voice. Whereas Donald Glover, while he's been in a ton of things that we love, his voice is just more, I don't know, I can't describe it. I don't want to say run of the mill because that sounds bad. I'm a huge Donald Glover fan. His voice just doesn't have distinct characteristics in a good way. It just kind of can blend into his character's part.
Yeah, and I think that's not to say that Beyonce was the wrong choice for this
role. Not at all.
I think she did a great job with the material that she had, what she was given, and what she had to perform, and how she was asked to perform. To me, it just was interesting where I thought that was going to be swapped, and then I ended up being wrong again, where I love Timon, and I love Simba now from this one, because I thought they, to me, brought their voice to the characters, and in the opposite way, didn't make the characters try to fit their voice.
Fair.
Does that make sense on that kind of stuff? I thought they did a great job of capturing the moments in this one. We already talked about the opening scene. Yeah. Can you feel the love tonight? When did you cry in this one? You said you cried one time.
Only when Mufasa died.
She leans over to me and she just grabs my hand and she looks and she goes, I'm not ready. I'm like, Jessica, you know, spoiler, Mufasa dies.
But oh my gosh, it was so much more tragic in this one. It was, oh God.
They even did the pullback.
No! That was the worst. That's when it got me. Was when baby Simba is going, no! Oh, it was so sad.
You gonna cry right now?
So
Don't cry. Don't cry right now.
And then, you know, you think you're done. You think you've moved past it. And then they do the flashback scene again. There's Mufasa falling again and Simba, no! I'm like, good grief, Disney. Like, geez, just take my heart out and do the flamenco dance on top of it.
The flamingo dance? Flamenco dance?
Yes.
What's going on here?
It's a traditional dance in Spain.
So for me, just let me give you, I'll get serious for a little bit here. This is a very important movie to me because it represents my father and I's relationship where I looked up to him a lot growing up, and he's passed away. So this is a very important.
Not the same way that Mufasa passed away, though.
Oh no, thank you. It's a little bit worse, I think, in some way. We're not going to get into that tonight, but it's a very important movie for me. And the moment that I was waiting for is when Simba had his reconciliation and looked up in the sky and saw Mufasa, and then when they start doing it, you don't hear the Simba. Like I wanted that part of it, and there was a little bit of that there. They changed the way they explained it, and I was kind of like, oh, this is not going to be so good. But then at the end, where he said, I'm not gonna get choked up. I'm good. I'm not gonna do it. He said, I've always been with you, and I always will be. And I was like, don't do it. You like start pinching yourself. I'm good. All right. That was Disney. That's when you won me over with. Like,
wow.
It was amazing. Captured all the feels, the opening, the ending. Can you feel the love tonight? I will say, don't go listen to the soundtrack before you see this movie.
I agree with that.
I spoiled myself, and I didn't think all the music was going to be good. A lot better in theaters.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Because you excuse me, speaking of
Get all choked up. No.
You even mentioned that song, what is it, Spirit? The Beyonce song? Yeah. You mentioned something about you weren't sure how it was going to fit in the movie. Yeah. And then I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, this fits perfectly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just see the movie first before you listen to the soundtrack. Yeah, it's definitely a good song. It's not one that I think they should have. They basically swapped that for Shadowlands, which is that kind of low, sad song they have playing a lot of the time. It was supposed to be Nala's song, and basically Spirit was Nala's song in this one too. So I didn't like the swap out, but at the same time, it's a good song. I really did. It's a really good song. Any other qualms or things that stuck out to you about the music? Because that's what makes a Disney classic, is the music. It's the music you know. Other than that one song, it's the music you know. It was fantastic. You know what I loved? I'm just thinking of it now. Tell me. Weembua, a weembua, a weembua. That was hysterical. It wasn't just Timon and Pumbaa. With all these other animals, and they're doing this little dance. I kept going, God, what's that animal? What's that animal? Because they were, what's that weird? It was like Bush Baby on that one. Aardvark. Bush Baby. I didn't know that was a thing. But Bush Babies are cute. It does pay to have somebody who works with animals as your husband. You know, I'm just saying, right? You never know when you're going to need it. You never know when you're going to need it. Let's start wrapping up here. We do need to address that little, like, fourth wall breaking moment where instead of "It's a Small World After All" with Zazu, we get Timon doing did you blank on it? Be Our Guest. Be Our Guest. It went on almost too long for me, but I was like, okay, that's good. They were breaking the fourth wall throughout the entire film, and the fact that they did it with a recent remake anyway, and it's like, what, Jon Favreau, well played, my friend. Just well played on your part, sir. That was just awesome. Final thoughts on the film. I think we've covered anything else that we haven't covered. I know we skipped over a lot of things here. Only other things I'll say, Zazu, I liked him a lot better than I thought I was going to in this film as well. I was, as you can tell, I was surprised by a lot of how much I like certain characters. Rafiki, I thought maybe he could have been a little bit more... He was a much more minor character in this one than he could have been. But I felt like since he didn't get his stick, spoiler, till the end, you know, he didn't pull it out and said, it's good to see you, old friend, or something like that. There's a story there, and I want to know. Gracious. I want to know. All right, to close out, should there be a sequel? No. Or a prequel? No. I say yes. No. I want Don't mess with Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. I want to see Kiara. No. Speaking of which, Kiara roared at the end. Did you notice that? Yeah, she did. That was kind of cool. So cute. That was a nice little change at the end there. But I think, you know what? We've already messed with a good thing. The original Lion King was great. Yeah. There was potential for this to not be. They did a great thing. Cut it off. Don't take our chances. Let's leave it as is. We don't need a sequel or prequel. No. It's complete. It's a complete story. No. Finito. Scar is dead. We don't need anything else. I will give you, maybe I can let go of a sequel. I need a Scar prequel. I need that to happen. Disney, listen to me. Give me a Scar. Linda, listen. Scar prequel. Give it to me now. I hope people know what we're referencing when we keep saying that. We've said Linda, listen, like 4 times. That's a little kid on YouTube, and he's pop culture. They know what it's talking about. The funniest little kid ever. It's like saying Hakuna Matata these days. They know what it means. Maybe. It means no worries. All right, so now we want to know from you in the comments section below, what are your spoiler-filled thoughts about this brand new remake for The Lion King? Share all that in the comment section below, and make sure you vote in our poll. What else should I do? If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the video. And you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Eye to Eye. But until we assemble again, may the Force be with you. And we'll see you real soon. Bye. Would you put my mug down? That's not your mug. Get away! You're not allowed in here. I know it's the Lion King, but you're not a lion. Go get it. Fine. You're gonna find an excuse to put this cat in this video no matter what I do. Do y'all want a cat? Does anybody want a cat?
I will gladly give you this cat.